Call to order the regular Common Council meeting Monday, May 16th at 7 p.m. Roll call.
McIntyre. Fry.
Here.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Here.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Person McIntyre is excused. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, May 13th. Agenda is posted at the Post Office, Library, and City Hall.
Council acceptance of the agenda.
Motion to accept. I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is public appearances for non-agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from April 19th reorganization meeting minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next item is to approve the May 2nd regular council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And special recognition to Cindy for getting all of that right.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Finance Committee.
Motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $192,271.23.
Second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
There are no licenses. Motion to approve a public event packet from Black Hawk Transport for safety meeting and consider and approve a request to waive the fees.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a public event packet for Manny and Brian Dugan for summer art camp and waive the fees.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a bid for a squad car petition in the amount of $588 from Jefferson Fire and Safety.
Second.
Any discussion?
This was in the budget, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's all I have for finance.
Thank you. Anything from utility?
Nothing to bring forward for utility, no.
Next item is to consider City of Edgerton Resolution 0816, preliminary resolution declaring the City Council's intentions for the 2016 Catlin Street Sidewalk Program to exercise special assessment police powers. A little background.
Certainly. We held a public hearing on this. You may recall a few meetings ago, there were a couple questions at that public hearing that the council asked its staff to review, one of them being a power pole, and if the power pole was going to be in conflict with the proposed sidewalk, and it will not. The other issue was a tree. The upshot of all of the conversation regarding the sidewalk is that in order to make the elevations between the garage and the driveway to the warehouses that the garage is near, in order to have all of those grades work, we're proposing that the sidewalk be moved closer to the right-of-way, approximately 5 feet away from the curb, than would normally be installed. it would be farther away from the curb normally. So our proposal is to move it closer. That will better help the grades work between those two that are significantly different in elevation. And the result of that from the tree is if you've been there, I have photographs if that helps, but there's one tree that is I would describe it as declining health. That tree would be impacted and removed by the sidewalk program. The other large evergreen tree would not be the healthier one. So the suggestion is if you consider approving the resolution, which is what the process of implementing the special assessment and having that sidewalk installed would be approving the resolution. That's how we would propose to install the sidewalk. And if you may recall, any motion to approve a resolution would have to include an interest rate as well as the terms, the number of years for which the landowner would have to pay for the sidewalk. And this, as you may have noticed in your staff report, there's just some data given from recent special assessments for the streets that have had new sidewalks installed. And that information is, in the past, it's been 3.75% interest on a 5-year term.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we move forward with Resolution 08-16 and include the special assessment 3.75% for 5 years.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Sandra Bailey, Matt, we oppose the motion. The tree that's in question is a blue spruce whose branches flow. It's not one of these that you can trim half of the tree would have to be trimmed in order to make walkway, because it's only like this far away from the tree trunk where the sidewalk would go.
Is that the better looking tree, Tom?
Is the one closest to the house? Is that?
It's the one right on the corner, right on the corner, the existing sidewalk, yeah.
Okay. And there's a few branches that have to come off.
There's more than a few.
To get the clearance, it only has to be 9 feet. I'd have to take a look and see how many.
Oh, they all are at such an angle that you have to go way up the tree to keep it from getting the pine needle in the eyeball.
Like I said, it only needs to be 9 feet. I'd have to look at it. I didn't look at it that close.
So the tree's in the right of way now then,
Yeah.
Probably.
if we're going off.
So even the sidewalk would only be about 2 feet from the roots, from
Not
the
even
base
that,
of
but
a foot or two from the base of the tree, so you're going to run into problem and hit the roots of the tree, so.
Is it possible that tree would have to be removed for the sidewalks, Tom?
Not for the sidewalk,
Okay,
because the sidewalk's going to be out closer to the curb.
okay.
And this would make an improvement for the driveway too then with a less grade change?
Yes.
I didn't catch what you were saying about the driveway.
It would improve the access to the driveway by leveling the grade off? No?
There's an elevation difference between your garage floor and the driveway on the south side of the warehouses. So it is difficult and would be probably not meet standards to go to leave the sidewalk right at the right-of-way line, which is a couple feet away from your garage, right? So
It's like this.
okay, so our proposal is to move the sidewalk closer to the curb so that there is less of an elevation change between the driveway to the warehouse and your floor elevation, so it can all be taken up and not cause any kinds of compliance issues with that sidewalk. So then that has implications for the trees. Is that clear?
No, I'm still puzzled because I don't understand the grandfather clause for that applies. Our garage and our driveway are grandfathered in. We've been in the house for 47 years, and that's been there since we moved in, so.
And we're not moving the driveway. There'll be a new apron.
We wouldn't be able to park.
Yeah, well, that parking that goes on in the terrace has always been illegal. from the rules.
I didn't think it was grandfathered in, it was illegal.
The improvement is allowed to stay, but parking is not a circumstance that's grandfathered. So if it hasn't been enforced, that's one issue, but it's city policy that you can't park in the terrace.
Would it be possible to widen the apron and put a drive next to the garage then too?
We've asked, talked to the
Okay.
homeowner about that. That would be part of the project if they were interested in that. The terrace, the apron would be our cost.
Right.
The driveway would be the homeowner's cost.
And would that be included in a special assessment?
The wider apron?
If to any improvements beyond the sidewalk, that would be on their responsibility?
Well, I'm going to be clear. The apron, if it were widened, well, it'll be reconstructed no matter what. If it's reconstructed wider at the homeowner's request, that's a project cost, not special assessed. If they build any part of a driveway beyond that, that's a homeowner cost.
Right. Even the sidewalk, there was a homeowner cost, correct?
Yes, but we're not going to special assess a driveway.
Right, that's what I was asking, if there was, okay.
It's a
I
homeowner,
didn't
not
know how far
assessed.
that was able to go as far as the special assessments concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are maybe a few feet of the driveway that is on between the right-of-way, but customarily, the sidewalk is special assessed, the apron's in the project, and anything beyond that is a homeowner's responsibility. If it were an existing driveway and it was to the right-of-way, that would be a different conversation, but this is an improvement that doesn't exist.
Right.
So,
Anyone else? Hearing nothing, roll call.
Thomas is the second, is that correct? Did you second that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. yes, you did.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Wellnuts?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes,
Mark Wellnuts?
No.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1. Next item is consider sidewalk repairs on Highland and Park Avenue. Background on that?
certainly. As you know, at the last meeting, the City Council denied the resolution for the repair and installation of sidewalk as part of this reconstruction project in Highland and Park. One of the residents, there's 2 residents on the list that have sidewalk that don't meet our current standards and need to be repaired. It's customary that when we do these projects, we do all of the work at one time so that we're not coming back and doing things a year from now or 2 years from now. So with the denial of the resolution, that means that the repair sidewalks also will not happen. The new sidewalks obviously won't happen, and the repair sidewalks also will not happen. One homeowner that has sidewalk to be repaired requested that the city special assess that homeowner. Basically, it's a financing opportunity for the homeowner as opposed to us just requiring somebody to install it and not provide an opportunity for us to finance it. So on your agenda this evening is that conversation. At least one of the landowners is in the audience. We would need direction. If you wish to consider special assessments, you would have to do that through a resolution similar to the one you just passed. And that resolution has to have notice requirements. So it would be your first meeting in June. If you were this evening to say, yes, we would like to consider that, then we would go through the process of making sure all the notices are taken care of. That would be the soonest that you could have the special assessment implemented if you choose to. So we're looking for direction this evening on this item.
So this would be anybody then on those streets would qualify for the special assessment to repair sidewalks?
Correct. And at this point, the 2 people listed in your schedule are the only ones. And Tom, we're certain that's the extent.
And is it my understanding that of these 2, one does not want it and one does? Or did I misunderstand?
One homeowner's here to speak for himself. I've had a conversation, but he can speak for himself. The other landowner, who I do not believe is in the audience, wished to have the special assessment, which is why we're talking about it this evening.
Okay. So if looking at the 2 sidewalks, is there a big difference between the 2 as far as repair?
Like quantity?
No, any damage to the current sidewalk?
Both of these homeowners have sidewalk that does not meet the standard for some reason, whether it's cracked, whether it's spalling, whether there's a separation between joints. There's a standard in the ordinance, and so if a sidewalk doesn't meet the standard, then it becomes a sidewalk in need of repair. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, do we know what is wrong with the sidewalks?
The one on Highland is cracked, and the one sections up on Park are above our trip hazard standard.
So the question here isn't whether or not they need to be repaired, it's whether we're going to allow a special assessment for them, correct?
No.
Well, technically, your process that you use to require these things to be repaired is by offering a special assessment process. It's the only way you can require the work to
Right.
be done. So many times, you know, as the Public Works Committee has talked about recently, is it's been about 15 years since the city has done a comprehensive rework of all the sidewalks existing in the city. About 15 years ago, we went through a quarter of the city at a time and repaired all the sidewalks through a special assessment process that needed to be repaired. That's probably something that the Public Works Committee is going to entertain starting again. It's probably in need. It's time, you know, if time has passed and there's enough problems out there. So if you don't special assess, then typically, that is your process to force someone to do a sidewalk repair. They can choose to do it on their own if they want to and hire their own contractor, and they've been given that option.
But in this case, and maybe I misunderstood, we don't have to, or we should? I mean, do we have an option of not requiring them to be fixed?
Well, your ordinance says that if a sidewalk doesn't meet the standard, it should
Okay.
be fixed. Are there sidewalks all over the city that don't meet the standard? Absolutely. The reason
Okay.
it's coming up now is because we're doing a reconstruction project. So it's logical, at least we've always found it to be in the past, when you're out there,
Sure.
you typically get a better price. You typically also are not tearing up something that you just tore up a year before. So it's customary to consider this kind of work while you're doing a reconstruction project.
And with respect to the height being a trip hazard, Tom, if somebody tripped and fell, who's liable? The city?
Question for Bill.
Oh,
We would certainly be sued.
okay, so it's the city and not the homeowners?
That is correct.
Okay,
'Cause-
that's what I want to know.
Well, it would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we didn't enforce this ordinance to make it compliant, that we would be liable.
I'm not going to go on record and make that determination without knowing more, but I certainly would expect that we would be sued.
I just wanted to make sure it was that, not the homeowners.
Yes.
So that kind of helps.
If they created the hazard, there might be a liability on them.
Sure.
I think we should move forward and require the repairs of the sidewalk and allow them a special assessment to do so. That's my thoughts.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a
Do we
motion
need a
then
motion?
to put it on,
I think we're looking for direction.
Yeah,
and
direction, that's-
we will put this out on notice it for a public
Yes.
hearing and follow, well, not public hearing, but the, provide notice to the interested parties for June.
Okay.
We just want to know if
the
that's
interested
something you
party
want
wants to speak.
Hi, Andy Mulrooney, 601 Park Avenue. I'm all for getting it fixed if it's a safety hazard. But with that, it was originally, I had it marked that there were 2 sections. Today I came home and there were 5 sections marked out. So I would kind of like to understand what the
We'll
policy
make
is.
sure that it's right before it gets fixed.
Okay.
Who decides that, Tom?
Well, we've had a few different inspectors out there, and I went and marked it this morning, and I didn't have the sheet with me. So just looking at it, I marked what I thought needed to be repaired.
Okay.
So we'll take a look at it.
It's the 2, looking to the north, it was the 2 to the left.
Okay.
One other thing, I've walked the street, there are 7 sections of sidewalk that are cracked. There is only one of them, and that's in Craig's, that is part of the repair, so there are some other cracks in there that you may want to take a look at. grind it or smooth that out instead of having to go through, redig it up, fill more concrete. That maybe is more cost effective for all parties involved.
We've talked about that, we've never had anybody give us prices on that, so we don't know if it's cheaper or a better repair.
My other ask is that if we are going to go to a special assessment, that we could get an updated estimate. The original estimate that came out in April, or I think it was April, was under the assumption from the contractor that they were going to have all of Park Avenue to do. That is no longer the case. So their costs are going to change with fewer work, with less work to be done.
They can't change it. It's a unit cost bid.
So that,
They have to stick to that number.
so the 322 or whatever it was that I received, that they will pay no more than that?
The square foot cost, unit cost, is a bid number that's hard and fast. Have you talked with a contractor to make sure the contractor will do this work since they're already doing concrete work now?
I have not, but I'm assuming there was.
Okay, so the contract does not allow them to change the,
So my cost of 224 that was originally, the square foot.
yeah, the unit cost won't change. The quantity is never finalized till the project is done, and that's the earlier piece of the conversation. So the only disclaimer I would say is the contractor is out there now doing concrete work, as you know. So my concern, and we want to verify, is that the contractor won't say, you know, the bid was not two times to come back and do the work. So we would just want to verify that the contractor doesn't have a concern with that or would want an upcharge, and then if so, then we would bid it out again and make sure that we got a favorable price as best we could.
Okay, and will I be let known whether it's the original two sections or if it is, we'll get it remarked. Okay, thank you.
And then we will have a better number, a more final number for you at the public hearing, which, if the council directs us to do that, would be June 6th.
And I would still have the option to have somebody else do it if I so choose.
Absolutely. That letter that we sent earlier that provided you with that information about how to do that, yes.
Who's doing the flat work up there?
Yes.
Thank you. So, I heard a couple of people say to go ahead and
Yeah,
this, so.
right. Directions, go ahead and do
Yes.
whatever the steps you have to do for the public hearing and the notice, or put it on the June agenda. Or whatever it is you have to do.
We'll take care of it. That's the direction.
And we'll move on to consider developers agreement date amendments for 12 West Fulton Street. And they're in the audience here too.
Some background?
Yep.
Page 7 of your packet, as you know, we have an agreement with McNally LLC for the purchase of 12 West Fulton Street. One of the conditions of closing and therefore purchase is that the landowners obtain building permits. The landowners have been working diligently to try to obtain those building permits and which require that you get quotes from contractors, and that has been the rub. They haven't been able to get all of that done. So there was a provision in the agreement that said by April 30th we would have closed. We haven't, obviously, so we want to bring that to your attention, and the staff is recommending that we simply remove the provision for a closing date, leaving the other milestone dates in place, which really are the ones that are critical. When the second floor has to be done, and then finally when the project has to be done, because that's really what we're trying to get accomplished. So that's what staff is suggesting, that we simply remove the provision for a closing date, and I'm convinced that the potential owners are working diligently to try to close.
I'll make a motion to approve the developers agreement date amendments for 12 West Fulton Street.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Wilnuts?
Yes.
Chris Wilnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep. Motion passes. Consider mayor's appointments. Couple things here. Jonathan would like to be on Parks, and Mark said he would get off so Jonathan could get on Parks, so if that's okay with anybody there,
You want to do that?
take that as a motion.
I'll make that a motion to approve the
Bet you will.
mayor's appointments.
What did I just get myself involved in?
Just the Parks one so far.
I'll second
For the
that.
parks.
Any discussion? You still want to be on Parks?
Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, I feel with my experience in the outdoor industry and in being an avid outdoor person, and my experience also with volunteerism, that I could help the Parks Department and be a
Awesome.
part of it, so.
I concur.
Of course you do.
If you concur, Doctor, I'm okay with that.
Okay, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Sure.
Chris Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, now I don't know, normally I would announce these and then we'd make the motions next meeting, but it's up to you guys if you want to go ahead and make the motions, but I'd like to nominate Julie Hageman for Planning Commission and Mike Drought for the Police Commission.
I'll make them a motion.
Oh, I love them both, yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay, you want to wait till next month? You're okay
No,
next meeting?
go forward.
All okay with that? Since you know a few of them?
Yeah.
Is that a Mark Candy motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you on that. That's filling a couple spots. Have one opening for RDA. If there's anybody in the audience that's, besides Jim, who's already on it, who's interested in that or knows anybody that might be. And then still got a couple other, Economic Development Corporation and the Revolving Loan Fund, which I still have the feelers out for them, but I haven't checked with them lately to see if they want to get on. But if anybody else wants to get involved with any of those three,
My neighbor says he wants to get on a committee. I'll bring him down, have him fill out the paperwork or whatever.
okay, thanks. That's it for that. So Mayor, Alderperson, and staff reports. I've got a letter here from the Municipal Treasurers Association of Wisconsin. Dear Mayor Lund, the Municipal Treasurers Association of Wisconsin is proud to announce that Cindy Hagland, with a whole bunch of letters and things behind their name here, has completed the necessary requirements to renew the designation of Certified Municipal Treasurer of Wisconsin, CMTW, in an organization of over 500 members. 75 currently have the designation, but only 24 are eligible and have met both the educational and work experience criteria in order to be recertified. It must be renewed every 5 years by attending continuing education classes and maintaining proficiency in their area of fiduciary responsibility. The MTAW applauds Cindy Hagland, all them letters again, 8 of them, on this achievement. Terry Esnes, Executive Secretary. Well, congratulations and thank you for doing that.
Good job, Cindy.
That was all I had. Anybody else have anything?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public property, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Discuss and consider South Main Street project.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Motion passes.